Yo, what's up, guys? So, with COVID going out and me being lazy, I decided to actually utilize this time and be somewhat productive. And so, join us today. We got my childhood slash best friend, still best friend, Sammy. What's up, Sammy?
What's going on?
So, Sammy, you're a new gun owner, right?
Oh yeah, and loving it.
Yeah. How many guns do you have?
Well, so far I got three. I plan on getting a shotgun and one more pistol.
Okay, okay. What made you, well, when did you make your first purchase? When did you get a gun?
I think it was about 2 months ago, and it wasn't even for me. It was for my fiance, but she didn't like it, so I just kept it. And then it went from there. you know,
What was the first gun?
the first one it was the Glock 22,
Glock 22. What caliber is that? 45 or
40
40?
caliber, 40 caliber.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, 40. Wow.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
So that was, you bought a pistol as your is this for a home defense gun?
Home defense, yep. But I didn't put the pistol in the Roni conversion now. So now I feel like it needs to stay. I want it to stay in that conversion. I don't want to have to keep taking it in and out. So I'm gonna buy one more pistol
Yeah.
just to have it right now.
And for those who don't know what a Roni conversion is, I'm gonna go ahead and try to what is it? Glock Roni.
Yep. And if you purchase one, you have to make sure you give them. See, a lot of people give them the caliber of the gun, Glock 9. That's not how you pronounce when you get a Glock. It's a certain model. Like mine's a Glock 22 40 caliber, and that's what you go by when you buy the Roni conversion. It should be on the side of your pistol when you buy it. It should say Glock 21, Glock 22, Glock 17, whatever, Glock 18, which, that's the automatic Glock, but just whatever Glock you have, you need to know the number on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What what drove you to pick this big? Because a Glock, what is it? Glock 20?
Glock 22.
22? Glock 22
Yep.
isn't a small gun.
No.
And 40 cal is semi relevant, but losing relevancy to 9 millimeter. What made you choose
Yeah.
a Glock 22, which is as big as, I mean, it's huge, it's like a yardstick, and the 40 cal?
Well, the difference, the reason I chose the 40 caliber, because I mean, it was a lot easier to get, and it's cheaper. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like a Glock is a Glock is reliable. Don't get me wrong, the 9 mil, reason people are going for the 9 millimeter ammo is because it's cheaper. But the reason I didn't go with it because 9 millimeter ammo is hard to find. Everybody has a 9 millimeter. Everybody doesn't have a 40 caliber. Everybody doesn't have a 380. They don't. It's harder and harder to find.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And that's actually a valid reason. So the 40, those who are trolls in our community of firearms, they like to call the 40 Smith and Wesson the 40 Sloan weak, and they do this because it comes short of being what um, it comes short of being what a 10 millimeter does. Right? It doesn't have that same power, that same thump as a 10 millimeter, but it also doesn't have the same carrying capacity, magazine wise, as a 9 millimeter. And at the beginning, the 40 is really a compromise between the 9 millimeter and the 10 millimeter for law enforcement. And it made its way somewhat popular, and then studies came out and said, hey, the 40 isn't that great of an advantage over a 9 millimeter. So why carry a 40? And this is for police, mostly police. Why carry a 40 when you can get two or more extra rounds in a magazine with a 9 millimeter and have the same or similar stopping power? So that's kind of where that deviated from with the 40.
Okay. Okay.
But what's good is there are a lot of used trade-ins, trade-in Glocks, MMPs that are chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson from police departments such as Atlanta or Detroit. Those are the ones I'm seeing recently that are affordable, especially to our community, the black community here in America. Um, so yeah, a 40 caliber pistol is still a good option. I don't own 40, but it still is a valuable option, especially when you're looking for your first purchase. So you said you
And then
purchased.
not just that. Oh,
Yeah.
go
No,
ahead.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
See, the Glock 40, they're pretty much bringing the price down on them because, like you said, nines are more relevant now. I don't think they even gonna. They're probably gonna still make them, but they're really trying to do away with the 40 caliber because, like you said, you can get more bullets into the magazine, and the ammo was cheaper, and it has the same stopping power. Like, there's no point. Really, a 40 is just, I don't know, like you said, slow and weak.
I wouldn't
Like
call
I
it
said,
slow and weak. I wouldn't want to get hit with neither 940, especially not 10 millimeter. That takes souls.
right.
But yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just needed, when I bought it, I just needed something for the house. I was like, I don't care. I'm not going to be shooting it. But like I said, when I first bought that gun, I didn't even think I was going to be a recreational shooter. Now, I, like, I spend more money on bullets. I spent more money on bullets in the last couple of weeks. I could have bought a whole nother AR and some. That's
yeah.
how much I've been shooting,
Now
you know.
you said
Um,
you own 3 guns and one of them being an AR. What's the other one?
the other one is the AK-47.
And you purchased all 3 of these in what, a span of 2 months?
Yep.
So did COVID push you into purchasing, or making that, committing to that first purchase?
Well, the first purchase was because there was a lot of weird stuff going on in our neighborhood.
Mm,
Some guy was trying to get in the next door neighbor house, and like me, I work 12 hours
yeah.
at night. I'm not at home at night, so I got a pistol for her to make her feel safe, pretty much. But she she said the pistol was too big for her. I'm gonna buy her a smaller pistol, probably like a 380 or something like that, something small, or just a small 9 millimeter.
Mm,
Something she feels she can handle.
mm.
Um, but
With that
when I
said,
took,
I'm gonna cut in real quick. With that said,
oh,
the 40, the Glock 22 that you have isn't. There's no such thing as it being too much, unless you physically are incapable. But we're all, thank God, we're all able-bodied. Um,
exactly, which I understand exactly what you're saying,
yeah,
but
it just takes the
that's the way she
mindset.
feels about it.
Yeah,
Exactly, it's a
yeah,
mind thing. That's the way she feels about it. Like, she say it's loud. I'm like, every gun is loud. Um, it's too big. Like, I mean, even the 380, if you don't hold it right, it's a little kick. She didn't even shoot the gun. Like, she didn't want to shoot it because it was too intimidating to her.
yeah.
So I was like, I mean, it's just a Glock. I mean, there's pistols out there that make the Glock look like look look like it can't even. It's not even as intimidating as a lot of other pistols that are out there. Like, okay, good example, the Heckler and Koch USP match. I think
Yeah.
you look at that thing like a Desert Eagle. Just think about that versus just a regular Glock. That looks like it'll take your soul away just by the way it looks. You know, so
It didn't take some
like,
people's nose away, especially that Desert Eagle and 50 AE.
right. But like I've been trying to bestow in her head that, I mean, a pistol is a pistol. That
Yeah,
she don't think of it that way. So I got to get her a smaller pistol that she,
something more
you
comfortable
know,
for her. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And what's
exactly.
good about the firearm, any firearm, is there isn't one firearm for all. That's why
Right.
there's all these different types of models and makes. So you got the Glock 22, which is the big Glock, and then you have the what? I think the Glock 20 is the compact version, which is equivalent to the Glock 19, which is the compact Glock at 9 millimeter. Um,
Right.
so yeah, there's different. You're a car guy too, so there's different cars for different folks, right?
Exactly.
So same with guns, different guns for different folks that help them meet their needs. The one gun that I'm looking at for my significant other is the Smith and Wesson. What is it? M&P Easy, and I could actually bring that up too. So this one here is actually designed more so for people who, racking the slide back, is the slide is heavy. So that's usually the one thing that I hear a good amount of women complaining about is how hard it is to properly rack the slide. The Easy kind of takes care of that by let's see, Easy Performance by having the slide so much easier to rack. It has a lot of different features. So this is what I'm looking into. I'm looking into the 9mm version. Comes in also in 380, but I like 9. I'm really committed to 9, 5.56, and 300 blackout right now. But yeah, so the COVID didn't really push you into it to purchasing a firearm. It
Actually, I wanted a new hobby. You know,
okay.
I did it. I did everything I could to my car. Only thing I need to do is do a few more things to my Mustang. It's really that's what I'm saying. I like to keep my mind occupied, and that's something I can do. I can go to the range, shoot, and I challenge myself by trying kinds of targets. Like lately, I've been shooting a lot of paint cans. You know, a small target from far away, and when you shoot it, it goes in the air. You know, it's kind of exciting. You know,
Yeah.
so but the next thing y'all probably won't recommend it. I'll go buy some Tannerite and just shoot a couple of them.
Those are
I'll
fun.
post videos.
Be careful. Be very, very careful. What is that
Oh,
guy?
yeah,
FPS Russian? I don't know if I can show him if that get copyrighted, but FPS Russian is he's still living. Was a guy who had a YouTube career out of shooting guns.
right.
And he actually he jam packed an old car, a beater with Tannerite, and shot it. And what ended up happening is his cameraman ended up getting some shrapnel from the car. I think it was car door that blew past him, and he had to go to the hospital. So
Wow.
Tannerite is not a bum, but it's not no joke either. So definitely be careful with it. All right. But
Oh, yeah.
you got
Yeah.
some land out there that you can shoot. You're down south of
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
But
I'm not trying to do blow up no cars. Then I'm just gonna get like 1, 2, maybe 3, just to see it blow up.
yeah, just to experience it.
Right.
It's just a small little bang, so nothing
Exactly.
terroristic.
I ain't trying to do all that blowing up cars. Like that's pretty crazy. Like, you know, that's fun. But like me, that's why I just like to do things to keep myself occupied. And me buying that first gun is what got me into it.
Yeah.
You know, but I still got to do a few more things. Like you were telling me, I need to do the triggers, which I saw on the video you showed me. The AK triggers are simple to change, easy to change.
Yeah.
Same
Same with ARs as well. Glock, I think the Glock trigger kind of it takes a little bit of finessing, but I don't believe it's hard at all either. I think it can be user service that way, replacing
right.
the trigger. But yeah, so with you getting your gun in Mississippi, how was that process of getting your first firearm? Was it hard? Was it
Well,
easy?
actually,
You just order it from online? What was that process?
well, I went to a pawn shop because I wasn't really trying to spend a lot of money. I wasn't. I just needed a pistol to have so she could have a sane mind.
Yeah.
So she could feel safe being home. You know, it was getting so bad to where she just didn't want to be here at night. She would go to her mom's house. So that's why I got it. So I went there, bought the Glock. They gave me a good deal on it. I only paid like $390 for that gun.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, on $390. Bought the extended clip.
Yeah, extended magazine.
Yeah. I mean, it holds 22 bullets.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to shoot it, so I took it out there, started shooting it, and I liked doing it. So I was like, I'm gonna buy AR. It's easier to come by. It seems like it's getting harder and harder to find AKs. And it's not just that. When you do find one, it's the price is jacked up. I just saw one not too far from me in Alexandria, Louisiana. They wanted $900 for it, but they say it was milled and they had Mag-4 furniture. But I'm like,
who was the manufacturer? Was it Century Arms?
I think it was.
All right.
So I knew it wasn't worth $900. It's all because of this Corona stuff. People are jacking the
Yeah.
prices up on everything.
And for
Like you can
anything
buy
Century
matches.
Arms, I would not pay I wouldn't pay over for brand new Century Arms like last year production. I would pay maybe $700 for an AK from them, but um, Century Arms doesn't have a good reputation, and that's more so
And,
because of the quality and
and
of what they import.
exactly.
And the
And
reason
you
why,
see, and that's why. Well, go ahead, go ahead.
no,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. Go ahead.
See, I have a Century Arm, but I paid $625 for it, and it was manufactured in 17. But with that being said, I got such a good deal on it.
Yeah.
But I will tell anybody, when you buy one, look at the manufacturer date. Because I'll say, from the videos I've been watching with, you probably are the AK operator on YouTube, he pretty much said that gun is a no-go. Like, he hates it. But the one he had was a 16 model.
Mm.
And after that, that's when they started improving a lot of things. So when you buy your Century Arms gun, make sure it has a manufacturer's date 17 or higher. So the newer it is, the better made it is. Stuff was
Hopefully,
like I
hopefully
paid
they change things
$625 for
around.
mine.
I think I got my
Right,
first one was in 2000 and gosh, when was it? Oh, 2010. I got my first AK-74, which fires the
right,
5.56, and it was from Century Arms, and that thing was a piece of junk. And it was my first gun. Um, I loved it because it cost me about $400 to $500. I think it was like $400 flat, and I bought it from an FFL. Same like you with that pawn shop. I saw on Gunbroker, actually gunbroker.com, a guy who lived in what is it, Wisconsin Rapids. He runs an FFL, which is the legal license to actually sell firearms. So when you purchase your gun, you actually went to the pawn shop, which is an FFL as well, or has an FFL
exactly,
license.
exactly,
So they
yeah,
made you do a background check.
exactly.
Yeah. And
No, no,
majority
I
of
did the
gun
background.
purchases are background checks. When people talk about the gun loophole and all that, that right there is it's not true. It's definitely not true. It's kind of the loophole that they're referring to isn't really a loophole. It's just um, a way of not criminalizing law-abiding people. So let's say me and you're into target practicing, target shooting. If I
Right,
came down in Mississippi and I'm like, hey, you gotta try this AR. This AR is dumping. But you know what? I don't have time. I got other engagements I need to get to. But here, go ahead and take this gun as a law-abiding citizen that I know you to be. No
right,
prior felonies, no domestic abuse charges, none of that, no pending case, none of that. As I know you to be a logical, insane individual, I can lend you my firearm and you can go without me being there to supervise it. So
right,
that's where that gun show loophole really isn't meant for gun shows. It's actually meant for, uh, my grandfather to pass over his firearm to me and say, hey, this is yours, keep it, or hey, this gun has a really good trigger. Go test it out, but you don't have to wait on me. So
right.
that's where that comes from. I think the media. I don't want to say the media because I definitely don't side with that part either.
See now,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was always wondering. Let's say since I buy a gun and I give it to someone, long as I know they're pretty much, it's like kind of like a car. I don't care if it's in my name. If I give it to you, it's yours. Pretty
Yeah,
much. Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. That's where. Because think about all the family members who share guns.
Right, right,
That
right.
would get kind of tricky in the court of law.
Yeah,
So
because I was just saying that one time because one time I left my guns in the car. Which I mean, my brother, my brother.
yeah.
Um, the guns was in the back seat.
Hey,
He
shout out
just
to your
drove to the
brother.
car.
Hey, you'll find his what is his YouTube or SoundCloud in the description below.
Yeah.
And I may even play some
Oh
of his
yeah.
music in there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Check them out. Check them out.
But yeah, so yeah, driving with your firearm in the trunk. I've done that all the time too. Um, but the guns are unloaded. They're legally allowed to be in the car. Um,
Right.
you're following all the state and federal laws. You're not the threat that is being portrayed, right? You're not shooting up schools. You're not shooting up offices. You're not shooting up anyone. You're simply just defending
Right.
your own life and what you work hard for. Um, and you shouldn't have to be at the mercy of a criminal. I mean, if someone's robbing you,
Yeah.
they've already they already committed the criminal act, so they don't care
That's
about a gun
that's
charge.
like what we were talking about earlier. That's one thing I said. Everybody has a right to protect themselves. Everybody has a right to have a gun, and it's not the gun; it's the person behind.
Yeah,
People need to understand that notion. I can give, I can give my gun to a maniac. With me with the gun is safe in my house, but I'm like, oh, here, use my gun. He goes shoot up the mall. Like I say, the gun didn't do that. He did that.
yeah,
I didn't do that. He did that. At the end of the day, I just wish the world would understand that no weapon can be fired without a human behind.
true.
And
You can leave them on the porch. I mean, I
right.
got I got all these behind me, and they haven't got up and started shooting or moving. And they made a beeline to the refrigerator for beer.
and
And
Australia.
real quick, shout out to Spotted Cow from New Glarus. They are not the sponsor of this video, but I definitely do enjoy their product, even though they do not like my hobbies. I'm a little bit petty. Um,
But
so yeah, you went through the normal process of getting a firearm, which is a background check, even at a pawn
right.
shop, not an actual true gun store, because
Oh yeah, on
there's like
my
a true
block I
business.
got delayed. My background got delayed 2 days, but after that happened, it went smooth. The next guns I bought, it went real smooth.
Yeah, that's the
But
NIC system that you're talking about, and that's just the
yeah,
normal process. So when you go into a gun store, they give you a sheet. You fill out the sheet, and it asks you some basic questions. Do you smoke marijuana? Are you a felon? Domestic violence record, or anything like that? And if you are able to answer no to all those, then there really is no reason for them to decline you.
yeah,
The background check is just them searching through the records and making sure that you are legally able to purchase. The problem with this thing that people think that there isn't a background check required or being done. That's totally
right.
false. But so looking back on it, what are things you wish? Give me 5 things you wish you would have known before buying.
Well, definitely that I was going to get delayed because I wanted my gun that day. When you spend a lot of money on something, you pretty much want it then and there. It's just like I
Yeah.
feel like
Could you
it's
imagine
mine. I
living?
need.
Could you imagine living out in California or Illinois or out east by New York and those where your life is in danger, right? Let's say me and you we're men, so we feel entitled to our defense. But as a woman, um, that level
Exactly.
isn't the same. Me and you, we've been in scuffles. We've had I've seen you scuffle a couple times, and I think you may have saw me fight like once or twice. But we grow up with that, right? As a woman,
Yep.
that type of violence isn't well, hopefully shouldn't be normalized, and even if for our case shouldn't be normalized. But it is what it is, growing pains. But if you needed your firearm for the next day or that same day that you went out there and got it, could you imagine what a week or a month wait or the circus where I think it's Maryland where they're actually not really even approving licenses. They're just sitting on it. And it isn't because of COVID. They were doing this before COVID. Um, could you imagine
Wow.
how that would be? Because the federal government is going to say okay, but then it comes down to the local jurisdiction to also say okay. And some of these local jurisdictions are runaway laws. And as a black man in America, uh, we both know how bad and hurtful runaway laws are. And these wait periods are jokes, and this what they call common sense gun laws aren't common sense at all, from my viewpoint and logic, I guess. And, but yeah, man, I think we're almost time. I know I've been holding on to you for a while, but yeah, please continue telling us the five the five things you wish you would have known.
Dad, and I know this sounds weird, but I really thought I can get my hands on a fully automatic weapon. Like me, a lot of people didn't really know. I know a lot of people don't really know about gun laws. These are my first guns. I only had these guns maybe 3 months. I didn't know. But like you say, do your research. How I found out. Wish I'd have known that because that's definitely what I wanted. And I mean that's really it. That's really it. You know.
Yeah, so you wanted a fully automatic gun.
Yeah, I did.
What made
but
you want that?
Just to shoot. Like you say, fun to shoot.
Yeah. They are fun. They're definitely fun. And for automatic firearms, those are heavily regulated. So
exactly.
you can procure one, but it's going to be very, very expensive to you to get. And what's really interesting is NFA items was what they call National Firearms Act, was an act passed by Congress. I got it up on the Wikipedia page. That went in effect into 1934 and pretty much put a $200 tax stamp on silencers and this category of firearms called AOW. And AOW are like, what does AOW stand for? AOW is a Title II weapons. Title II weapons is a catch-all. So any other weapon. So it kind of put. I don't think AOW is actually $200. I think they're like $5 or something like that to get. But it kind of made gun ownership for the elites. So putting a price for you to own a machine, like imagine there is a price. There is a price for a car, right? You have the wheel tax, right? You have all these other taxes that are taxed onto you owning your car and operating your car on the public road. We have the same thing in the gun industry, right? You can't just wake up and go get a full automatic firearm, or in many cases, even a suppressor. You have to go through the process. And the process is so red taped, so slow that it's just a pain to law abiding citizens like me and you. Because you and I, we know, as someone who works on cars, and you truly work on cars. I mean, you put your own you ride on air. You did that yourself.
Yeah.
What do you call that?
Oh yeah. It's called airlift performance air ride. I mean, this is the actual controller right here for it. That's the pounds of air in each airbag.
Yeah. It's right there.
So pretty much, that's my lowest ride height I can go.
And how'd you learn how to do it?
I just winged it.
You winged it? Well, I'm sure you looked on the internet too, right?
Yeah, I looked at a guy that had a 300, which a 300 and a charge is the same thing.
Okay.
And I just watched him, and that's how I did it pretty much.
Yeah, you copied
but
from there.
He didn't have the full. He just had the basics, and I just went.
Okay. The basics on making a full automatic gun, or making a gun from household material, is all out there on the internet. Because knowledge is free, right? It's hard for you to control information, especially nowadays. So these things like the National Firearms Act and all these other so-called common sense gun laws are kind of null and void, because if you want to do criminal acts with a tool, especially a firearm as a tool, you're going to find a way to do it because that's your intentions. Now, the laws that they're putting in place are hurting people like you and I, in the fact that we just want to simply defend ourselves, enjoy a hobby that's constructive and fun that we can share with our friends and family. It's just ridiculous.
Because it's just like you say, I mean, knowledge is everywhere, and the criminals are going to always have them. I mean, if their intentions are to do they're going to have the gun to do it.
Yep.
Fully automatic, whatever they need, they're going to have it. I mean,
and you know what comes worse? The harder it is to get a gun, the more desperate these criminals will be. And I'm not saying we should make it easy. I definitely don't agree with making it easy for criminals to get guns. But now you open up a new realm of terror for criminals.
Yep.
So in South Africa, it isn't easy to get a firearm. So an officer is an easy target, becomes a target. And there's countless videos of, men and women in uniform losing their lives, not because of the role or what they're doing, but more so because of the tool that they carry to do their role that the public asks them to do. So yeah, it's crazy to think that laws that govern law-abiding citizens will apply to criminals. But yeah, the NFA Act definitely made it a pricey decision to get into silencers and other items. So that was your number 2. What's your number 3?
Well, that's really it. That was really it. That's all I really wanted to, wish I would have known. But it is what it is. Like you say, laws are put in place that hurt people like us.
Yeah.
People that are lost, that live their lives on a straight line every day, follow the law to the T, but a criminal can get a gun. It's nothing like you. He says I live in Mississippi, I can go right to Maryland Heights right now. I guarantee you, give some guy $100,
you got yourself
and
a gun.
I can get any gun I want.
Yeah.
And I can get any gun I want.
Well, the place you just mentioned is located in Natchez, Mississippi, and I'm not advising people to go out there to go get a gun. This ain't a field trip. We ain't Magic School Bus. But that's the environment we grew up in.
Something to think about.
Yeah, we grew up in that type of violent environment where that access was easy, and I thank God that we never fell victim into that cycle. But as a law-abiding citizen, we should have the right to defend ourselves from people who can spend $100 and come and take everything that we work so hard for.
Exactly.
You say you spending 12 hours a day working. That's crazy. But for you to lose it in less than an hour, or actually even less than that, I mean, a burglary doesn't take long.
It's crazy. How much you spent on your gun? You say exactly.
Ooh,
you can go probably buy like a fully auto AK, fully automatic AR, 50, $100. No problem.
Yeah, those are definitely a wash. Those are all over. They're illegal. They're illegal from being manufactured to being owned. But criminals don't care about laws. That's why they're criminals by nature, right?
Exactly. They don't care about laws, and they want to, take our means to defend our field, and but yet it's still easy access like that to get. I can understand the access wasn't so easy to get those guns. I can understand the laws, but I feel the laws that are in place are useless because the guns are still on the street. They're still there. Yeah. They're just not legal to buy, but they're still there to find them. And not just that, you can still get your gun altered. If I'm just saying, if it came down to it, you can get your gun altered, get it fully auto. So the laws that they put in place are really pointless.
Yeah.
The criminals are going to do what they need to do the job they intend to do.
Yeah.
To rob you, to do whatever they're trying to do.
To make you bend down to their will. But yeah.
And what I was saying earlier, like Australia, a lot of their guns were taken away at one point in time. I haven't looked back into it. I don't know if they
still ain't got them.
Back to what it. Are they still?
Well, so guns, they created this category. They used the law, and they used the fact that the first part of their law was registration of firearms. And so with the registration of firearms, you know who has what. Right now, Uncle Sam doesn't know that you have an AR. They don't know if you have an AK. They don't know if you even own a gun. The background check is just done to make sure that you legally can own a firearm. Those records aren't really retained in that manner for them to take back your guns that you purchased with your own money. Australia, they use laws and they use time and they use an event. They use a massacre to to uh, to take public will, public frustration, and instead of addressing the issue, which was a center point of the actual the crazy people, you have to address crazy people,
Yeah,
right? You have
exactly.
to address the social issues that pretty much all Western countries have, all people have. Um, they use that instead of addressing those issues. They use it to put blame on a tool that, for the majority, I mean, Australia had tons and tons of guns, but not tons of murders, right?
Right.
Same in America. Although it looks like America's awash with guns. There's over 300 million firearms out there. I mean, there's a little bit over 320 million Americans, right?
I
And
and
we ain't being killed left and right like that now, are we?
but I guarantee you, criminals know we don't have a gun in our house.
Oh, you're a
Done
victim.
deal.
Yeah, you're their
Yeah.
victim. You're at their
That's
will.
what Australia. The crime, everything went up. It went when they did that. Everything, murder rate went up, crime rate went up.
Yeah, it's not a good decision to disarm. You know, if a bunch of wolves came around and I don't want to get into that one. I'm gonna say that for another time.
Right.
That's a good analogy, but I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit that with another time.
It,
But yeah,
I
man.
forgot what country it was. Is it Ireland? I think everybody is like they're. It's like everybody is a member of the military there, and they all have a gun in the house. Every
I think
household,
you're
and
talking
almost
about Israel, or no, you're talking about Switzerland. If you mean households, and even that has changed due
yeah,
to voting. Democracy is a slippery slope. If you can
yeah,
gather people's attentions and steer them into um, what you want for your political gain, then you achieve things that normal circumstances people wouldn't be for. So in Switzerland,
exactly.
um, all men are conscripted into the military. I think
Yeah,
the word's
I think that
conscripted.
that's the country. Yeah,
And part of the conscription is you stay in conscription between I think the ages of 18 to well into like your 40s, and at the end of your service, you're able to buy your firearm. And during your service, you can actually take your firearm home. Now, they do convert your firearm from fully automatic or the option of fully automatic to semi automatic. So it goes from assault rifle to a standard kind of like AR-15 configuration where it cannot be utilized in full auto. And most of these people, they take it home and put it in their attic and hope that Germany doesn't decide to do World War III again. um,
right.
but yeah, they started changing that by you have these one-off events and then people blow those out of proportion, and instead of focusing on the root cause, which is pure evil, instead they focus on the tool, and
right.
it's more of a cop out. And I see that in Chicago, where I originate from, where you see that a lot. You see politicians avoiding the social ills of that community where we have such high gun violence, right? We ain't in the south side of Chicago. We ain't got school shootings. We got neighborhood killings, right? And this isn't because these are people are just bad people. I mean, you do criminal acts, you're a bad person. But outside of that, the it is the social economic issue that is going on in those communities that are deprived of nutrition, deprived of opportunities, that are being kind of used as puppets in a game of politics. There, for to be real with you, there's no reason Chicago should have such high murder rates if guns were the
Yep.
issue, because
Yep.
they damn near ban they banned pretty much they put a lot of things in the people's path of getting a firearm, and you'll see that places that have stricter gun laws aren't always safest. We
No.
see that in
No.
California. We see that in New York. Although New York City, if you address the social ills that, especially in our black and brown communities, I guarantee you a lot of the gun violence that we have will decrease overnight. You can't be out there with Smokey shooting people up if you got a job. a 9 to 5. If you have something that makes your life worthwhile to live for. But man, it looks like
Yeah.
I hit you for a long time, man. We definitely have to
Oh
do
no,
this some
you
more
good?
time. We're good. You sure?
Yeah,
I've been watching the
yeah.
clock, trying to make sure I don't overdo it at the
Yeah.
time. Um,
But I like how you brought up the deal about like the murder rate. What's been a known fact in human history? Let me put it over. I'm getting out the camera. What's been a known fact in human history? Humans will always find a way to kill,
oh, for sure.
and they're going to you take
Be it a
let's say
rock or a
you take
knife.
guns away. Okay, yeah, exactly. Rock, knife. Okay, before guns, what were there?
Spears.
Sword. Swords and spears. Do you know how many people died by the sword and the spear? A lot more than people died from a
Change the
gun.
face of this earth.
Exactly. So, and not just that, it's like it's the tool that I mean the cool. Like don't get me wrong, a gun is very efficient in killing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's the person behind the tool that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, and I mean, weapons are used accordingly to the person.
Yep.
That's just the way I see it. So
Yep.
I can go out there and grab my gun and go shoot up a mall, or I can let it sit in that closet where it's supposed to.
And go shoot targets.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Or go shoot targets. It's a tool. It doesn't have legs. It doesn't have a mouth of its own. People.
No conscience.
But it's like you say, people use events to
for their political gains. This is truly a political game that we're in right now.
You have some pacifists. Yeah, I understand you're against violence, but I mean, when you're living in a world that we live in, certain people all they know is violence. And see, me, as you know, I work in corrections. Certain people don't understand. They just don't. All they understand is, hey, they grew up in this violent environment. That's all they know. That's how they live. That's all they know. That's all they ever will.
Cycle repeats. Then their kids, their offspring, continue that cycle on and on. The generational poverty.
Yeah. And they will tell you, hey, whatever I gotta do to get what I need done, that's what I'm gonna do.
And if you're in that way, you're
trying
the
to follow
victim.
the law.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not trying to follow the laws. They don't have to follow the laws. They feel like, well, I'm a criminal. I know how to get around all the laws, so I'm gonna go do this, do that. They're gonna still have their guns. If our guns get taken away, they're gonna still have their guns.
Oh, for sure. And you know what's even crazier is in places like Chicago, where I come from,
Right.
But yeah, in Chicago, they have strict gun laws, but the sentencing for those who violate those gun laws is a slap on the wrist. People talk about straw buying, people going from Chicago, Illinois, over to Wisconsin or Indiana to buy firearms. First off, that's not legal because you have to be a resident of the state that you're in to fill out the paperwork to purchase a firearm. So if I'm in Wisconsin, with a Wisconsin driver license and that's my residency, I can't go across any other border and purchase a firearm there.
Oh, so I didn't know that. So with me having a Mississippi residency, I can't come over here in Louisiana and buy it.
No. But what you can do is what is done for online orders. So when people talk about buying guns online, really what they're doing is you're procuring the tool, the firearm, but you have to have it shipped over to what's called an FFL or SOT. But FFL at the lowest level, which is the federal. What does FFL stand for? I should know this, but right now I'm drawing a blank. So FFL stands for. What does FFL mean? Federal Firearms License. So you have to have this. Oh, go ahead.
And right now, doing that, everybody is just backed up because of Corona. Everybody's ordering like crazy. They're just backed up.
Yep.
So
I just recently bought some AR lowers, and hold on one second. I can actually show a prop of an AR lower. I have Alright, so this here is an AR lower. This one here is my AR lower, which is an Anderson, I think it is, Poverty Pony Anderson manufactured lower. Um, this is the serialized part. This is the actual gun of an AR. It's the lower half of it. The uppers, which are the parts that the bullet actually moves out of. All right. And this one is unloaded, chamber is empty, and I made sure that it was safe. This is the upper. This here detaches from this lower part. I actually grabbed the wrong one because this lower is really stuck in there. But it detaches, and from it being detached, makes the top not function. Jesus Christ, man.
What kind of silencer that is? What brand?
This here is a silencer co. And on my channel, I have tons of videos about this particular silencer co. I've beaten and abused this. This is my first silencer. I think it took me like some ridiculous long time. You waited for your gun for 2 days. This here took me about over a year. Yeah, about a little bit over a year to get. And it doesn't shoot. It really isn't that quiet either. Trust me, it's definitely not that quiet. But it's just ridiculous, the laws that they put in place. And really, niggas shouldn't own silencers. That's really what it came down to, because these laws are so ridiculous. One, I had to pay a $200 tax stamp. And when these laws were written, the NFA laws, that was 1934. And in that, $200 back then was a lot, right?
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. That was a rich man's. This is a rich man's industry, or at least what they tried carving out. Something that they also do in Europe. So it's just ridiculous how they do this. It's not that they are meant to protect us; they're meant to exclude us, especially when you're black and brown, from law-abiding actions. So this is the upper. This here is one thing that you can have shipped to your house. No problem, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work without this here lower, right? That's buffer too, or buffer. You need this to fire this, right? So this is unregulated, but the lower half is. I don't know what point I was trying to get to there, but it's just ridiculous on how people who know about guns write gun laws.
Like, yeah. And that's just how it is. Everybody that writes the law, they are just overeducated people that feel, oh, because I went to school, I got a degree in it, I can do this. But I feel whenever you write like a law, I feel it should be, you should get the opinion of actual gun owners before you just write a law. I think you should get a vote on it.
Yeah.
Let people decide what they want. But a lot of reasons these laws are put in place because of a lot of people are just against them. And a lot of people just don't understand that, okay, I guess I'm going to go kind of sideways with this, but there's a reason each country has nuclear weapons, okay? So, I can tell you right now, a country say they're going to... What happened?
It's a deterrent.
Yeah, exactly.
U.S. nuclear arsenal is a deterrent to being struck first with a nuclear weapon.
Hey, exactly. Pretty much, they know we have nukes. If they fire their nukes, they know we have nukes. We're going to fire back. And this country has nukes, so it's pretty much like you say, it's a deterrent. Same thing with guns. If people knew, it's like how it is now, everyone knows what they it's a chance. They have a gun in the house.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. You're getting at the notion of an armed society is a safer society, which is true. But an armed and educated society is a much armed and intelligent society is a better world. To be real with you,
you have people that believe you can talk a criminal out of robbing them.
Listen, you know some people who grow up to be criminals, and you can't. We couldn't talk them out of it, right?
And
And we talked
you can give them
the
your
last.
wallet. You can give them your wallet. You can give them your car. You can get out the car. They might still shoot you.
Right.
Like,
You're at their mercy. You're at the
yeah.
mercy of a criminal who's already committing criminal acts. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
It's
Like I
crazy.
said, we grew up around a lot of people, and we've seen how they turned out. You know, like I say, there's nothing you can do. The best thing to have is what they have.
Yeah. Equal or greater
You know,
force.
exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's
I
how
think
you.
everyone has a right to defend themselves. Everyone.
Yeah, that's how you
Without
as
scrutiny
as a
behind
shooter
it.
protect your protect what you work hard for. Protect your own skin
Yep.
from the wolves. But
And to be honest, a lot of people are afraid to defend themselves because of so many laws. Like,
yeah, doing the
I
right
read
thing
up
isn't doing
on
the right thing.
an article where a lady, this alone man broke in her house. She had the gun, but she was afraid to use it. And it wasn't because she even said it. It wasn't because she was afraid to kill him. It was because of the repercussions behind it.
Yeah.
She was afraid that, maybe I need to shoot him in the leg. Maybe I need to shoot him. You don't shoot a person that's running away. That's true.
Yeah.
Because they're no longer a threat
to you.
But she just didn't know. So she pretty much was at this man's mercy and never had no idea what to do because she was afraid she was going to jail for protecting her life.
What was the outcome of that? Of that case? That situation?
I mean, it was really nothing. I mean, he pretty much robbed her and left the house. He didn't do nothing to her.
Yeah, but
and
she got lucky.
Yeah.
She got real lucky.
And guess what? And she said the guy even knew I was so scared that he wasn't even intimidated by my gun anymore. He just kept robbing her. He just kept taking stuff, putting it in a bag, and left the house.
That's crazy.
That's sad,
Like, there's a case in Wisconsin of a gentleman who used his firearm for the first time in Wisconsin as a concealed carry holder to defend not only his life and his family, but a lot of people inside a grocery store in Milwaukee. And I think I sent you that video, and I'll link that video underneath.
Yep.
And it comes from who is the channel? I think it's like guns.com YouTube channel. Either way, please do like and subscribe to them as well, and please do like and subscribe to me as well too. I'll keep rolling out new content, but not to get sidetracked. He was the first person in Wisconsin. He's a Muslim black man in a majority black city, which is Milwaukee, that has been known to be crime-ridden in a crime-ridden area, living his life as a law-abiding citizen when two thugs came into a grocery store and decided that they were going to hold up the grocery store and make everybody's life, put everybody's life in danger. He found an opportunity where he could use his firearm, and he used it appropriately. Appropriately, did I say that right? I'm struggling with my English. My phonics aren't there. And he ended up getting penalized, right? His penalty was, one, when you use a firearm in self-defense, law enforcement or outside, you start an investigation. An investigation where the police have to look into, did you act accordingly to the situation? Was your life really in danger, or were you looking for an opportunity just to shoot somebody? In that process, a lot of information is published. His name was published. His location was published, where he lived. And these thugs, they're going to bail out. They get bail like crazy. And they bail out, and they can easily figure out where you are to come intimidate you, to come take revenge on you. And what made it even worse was he, on camera, used his firearm for self-defense. And you know what? Let me see if I can. I think his name was like Nizer or something like that.
You were the first duck.
Let me bring out the video real quick because I think I got it.
The way I feel,
He
if law, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So he's on video, and I think they're guns.com or guns.com. He's on video February 3rd, 2012, at an Aldi's grocery store, just going about his normal day when thugs come in and put everybody's life at danger. And he sees an opportunity, and he seizes that opportunity to defend not only his life, his family life, but those around him as well. And the end result is this gentleman, I think Nizer, I'm probably butchering his name. Um, he actually had his gun taken from him by the police as evidence. They do that often. So
Yep.
that was hopefully not his only gun, but if it was his only gun, he's kind of prey to the wolves who now know his address, know who he is, where he's at.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy. Doing the right
Yep.
thing isn't always doing the right thing, but for you and me, we got to live for us and our families, our loved ones. Because the politician, him dead or alive, equals or decreases one vote. So they don't really care. For us, we got to care about ourselves and each other, and the fact that we have to defend what we already have that is pretty much instilled into the foundation of this country, which is the right to bear arms without being infringed upon. And so, yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this on Facebook where people were talking about, oh, the right to bear arms wasn't AR-15s and this and that. It was hunting rifles. And then they had a picture of an M1 Garand. I'm like, do you know how many
people that it killed?
About it? that M1 Garand
made purposely just for war, using what is the cartridge? 30-06. 30-06, yes.
Yeah, it looks like a hunting rifle, but I guess the people
it's just the wood. But it's definitely not. It's not made for hunting. It's made for killing people.
Yeah, back in the day when that law was made, there were no military type weapons. Like there were military type weapons, but there wasn't to the sophisticated.
Sammy.
Yeah, they wasn't sophisticated.
Sammy. Back when they made these laws, the Minutemen had cannons in their house.
Yeah.
I can't get no cannon in my house. Right? Well, it would be a very expensive process for me to legally have a cannon in my house, or equivalent of a cannon, which I guess would be, I don't know.
The cannons where they pull the
boom! But hey, that cannon, we laugh at it now, but it killed many redcoats. And it actually helped us get our citizenship. Well, not our citizenship, but our citizenship. It helped us get our independence, right?
Exactly.
Unlike Canada, Britain didn't give us our citizenship. Citizenship. Britain didn't give us, the royal family did not give us our independence. We had to take that.
Yep.
That's a luxury that we have to sit back and say, okay, our founding fathers, black, white, Hispanic, whatever they come from, they put their lives on the line. Many of them fought, and a few of them actually died, so that we can have the liberty, the luxury of having the right to bear our arms in defense of ourselves and our property. It just, to me, I think there's nothing more American than legally owning a firearm. It doesn't have to be an AR. It can be a shotgun. It could be M1 Garand. But we owe that to ourselves as a law-abiding citizen to have the right to defense. And that's one thing that really kills me when I come across blacks who sit back and say, well, you don't need a gun. What do you need that for? What? No, I need it because it's part of my Bill of Rights. It's entrenched, it's ingrained in me that it is my natural right, as it is my natural right to freedom of speech.
See, since it is a part of the Constitution, which the Constitution cannot be changed.
Well, it can be. Let's not get it wrong. It can be changed. Those are what I think they call amendments are to the Constitution.
Well, I mean, but I don't think that part of the Constitution can be changed. I forgot how it goes.
They're eroding it. They're eroding it with laws. So they made the Bill of Rights with 10 I'm drawing a blank, but 10 rights, natural God-given rights that all men share. And now remember, you and I, we weren't seen as men when they were writing this, right? We were seen as property, right? They wrote the law for the elites, the whites. White landowners is really what American and many other country laws are made for.
And not just that, it's so many.
But
they're letting us own our guns. Think about it. They're letting us have our guns now.
they're not letting us do anything. They're abiding by the will of the people,
Well,
which is protected in the Constitution. Listen, if
true.
they start knocking
I
on
said that
doors
wrong.
to take our
But
guns, there's gonna be a lot of issues.
but they can come up with other laws to make it harder to
To
own it.
exercise your rights, they can come up with laws and
Exactly.
say, "Hey, your right of freedom of speech is good, but there's limitations to it." And which I do agree, there should be limitations, but within reason. But one thing that the Constitution was very, very sure about was shall not be infringed. The right
Yep.
to bear arms shall not be infringed. Like that.
Yep.
That's common. And what kills me is when these black elites sit back and say, "Well, a well-regulated militia." No, a well-regulated militia is me as a law-abiding citizen. You and I are that militia, right? And what even makes it worse is, you remember? You know what? We're gonna leave it at that, man. We definitely have to chat it up again. I know we're definitely over time, um, but it was a good topic, man. We definitely should get together, and maybe next time we get together, we can talk about kind of tools and tricks and things for new gun owners to help them, with cleaning and their guns and stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely
Exactly.
have to do this
That's
again.
the worst thing a lot of new owners do. New gun owners do. They buy a gun, shoot it once just to see how it shoots, and just fit it and leave it.
Yeah, and hope that they're ready for the day when they may need it, instead of
Right.
actually getting out there, practicing, understanding it, and yeah. So we'll definitely do a part 2 of this for sure, man. It's always good to catch up with you, Sammy. You have a good one, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, bro. See you later, man.
Okay.
Peace.